These are bush cherries. It is just after the summer solstice, so it's right after June 21st. And the bush cherries are just coming into ripeness. I bet you wish you had some bush cherries. It's a little known little fruit that people can have sitting right by their house. But anyway, today is really going to be a little lesson on pruning basics and chop and drop. You've probably never heard of chop and drop, but that's a really cool little concept. Anyway, this is an old pear tree. This is like, it's got to be 10 or 15 years old. I don't know how old it is. It was neglected at some point of its life, but it still has some good branching. But I did some hard pruning on it. It's not fruiting this year because I did hard pruning to get it to the shape that I wanted to. But one of the things it's doing, because this tree still has so much vigor, it's an old tree, but it's trying to develop new leaders that are going straight up on all the branches. It's really annoying. It's something you don't want on the tree. They're not going to be fruit producing branches. The fruit producing branches are like almost horizontal. And those things that are trying to be a leader is not going to be what you want. But it is a sign that the tree, although it is so old, it still has a lot of vigor and it's trying to do some new growth. But anyway, I'm going to just show you where on the branches to prune for that, because it's a really common problem. They'll grow right on top of the branch, like pointing up on the upside of the branch. We'll prune those all off, all the way down as much as you can, but keep the ones that are like pointing down or pointing sideways. Those will be more fruit producing branches. Another thing I should mention is that when you have your pruners like this, they really are made to be to prune the branch on this side of the pruner and not this side of the pruner. See the gap that's made because of the one side of the blades? That's going to cause a gap when you prune. So you basically want to prune only on the outside or the right side of the pruners, and prune as close as you can to the mother branch. But anyway, basically, when I'm doing this is my permaculture brain coming out. I'm pruning this tree. It has so many branches and little, slough that's coming off of the tree that's going to be just basically waste. But the permaculture part of me says, no, that's not waste. The problem is the solution, and what we're going to do is not waste this stuff. And what we're doing basically in this process is something called chop and drop, and it is exactly what it sounds like. I've chopped off all this stuff on the tree that I don't want on the tree, and it's just fallen onto the ground. And what I'm going to do with it is keep it on the ground, and basically just raking this stuff up into like a thick layer in the middle, or close to the trunk, not touching the trunk, but close to the trunk. This is a mulch. This is a living mulch, or a green manure, because these branches were just cut. They still have tons of nutrients in them. They still have time to decompose, and all those vitamins and minerals that are in the branches are now just going to go into the soil around the tree. It's a living mulch, basically. It's going to suppress the weeds. It basically does everything a mulch does. But it's alive, and it's going to take longer and contribute more to the soil than an already dead mulch, like some pine shavings or something. So you should do this with everything. I do this all the time in the garden, mostly as like a weed suppressant. If I have some slough, garden waste, weeds or whatever, I'll just pile it onto the soil around something. It'll smother all the other weeds, and it'll become the mulch it'll become the soil of tomorrow by being the mulch of today. And you can do this with all kinds of plants. In permaculture, comfrey is like the plant to do chop and drop with because it's so nutrient dense. So find something on your property now that you can be like, I can chop and drop that and just create a mulch by pruning my plant. All right, do it.